Hi YouTube, FT here. You join me in my kitchen. Not smoking or anything today. This is well, it's not a cooking video. I'm going to be doing some brewing. The weather's awful here in the UK. It's cold, wet. I'm supposed to be painting the upper floor windows to get them ready for when the winter sets in, but it's too wet, so I can't do it. So I thought I'd kick off my homebrew rather than sit around idly doing nothing. Right, so this is what we start with. This is a 25 litre fermentation barrel. It's going to need sterilising. But while I'm sterilising this, I'll also be sterilising all of this as well. So basically this is what I'm making. It's a kit brew. It's IPA, I believe. Called Crusader. They do different ones. Well, I'm doing this one, the Crusader. And it's by Milestone Brewing Company. This is the wort, all ready to go, and this is the packet of yeast. Now, these need sterilising and boiling in water, and everything else that touches the ingredients, such as the bucket, ladle, mixer, thermometer and hydrometer. I think it's called a hydrometer. I probably got that name wrong. Hydrometer. And even this, which is an airlock during the fermentation, all need to be sterilised. Now I use this, which VWP, cleaner steriliser. Can be used around the house, not just for brewing, but as you can see here, it is used for home brew. This is a fermentation container, and I've got, whatever you can see in there, I've got about a gallon of water. It's just over a gallon of water. So I'm going to put 3 teaspoons of this stuff in. That's all it needs. You can see that. Heat teaspoons. 1, 2. This goes the third one. 3. And we're going to use the paddle just to give that a good old mix, and everything is going to be put in there. Bottle opener, this ladle, thermometer, there we go, hydrometer, that goes in, and the test tube. It's all in there. It's all going to be soaked in this stuff, washed in it, and then dried off with a clean cloth. Also, when these have been individually cleaned, I'm going to put this lid back on. This will go in, seal this hole up, keep it sealed, and shake this container so all surfaces inside are sterile with that liquid. And then I actually get a cloth and I use this to wipe all the outside. While I'm doing that, the malt extract is in these 2 cans. That's going to be full of boiling water, and they're going to be boiled for about 10 minutes, and that will loosen it all up and make it more fluid. These have now been boiled for 10 minutes. You can see they've got under a bit of pressure and they're very hot, but they're quite fluid now. Now I wish we had smell-o-vision. The smell of this is absolutely fabulous. So it's a malty, yeasty smell. That's what we've got in there so far. I'm now going to pour this one into there. Okay, here we go. Tip this over. Let's see how that's. Just let it trickle in. Now some people say this cheating. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but the kits are readily available on the market, so I buy them. I have made my own homebrew where you make your own wort, but a lot of time spent, and actually I think it's more expensive than actually buying the kits. Alright, that has to be stopped. Now these aren't finished with. What I'm now going to do is pour some boiling hot water out of a kettle into these, mix it round and add it into there. Okay, so what I'm now doing, this is boiling hot water. I'm using a wooden spoon that again has been sterilised. This one was sterilised by boiling it in the water, which I took out of a pan and not a kettle. This is just basically making sure we get all the wort, or the malt extract I should say, it's all malt isn't it? Don't need that anymore. So I'm going to be using a tea cloth to hold the tins and tip it into here. As you can see, the tins are nice, shiny and empty. And it's all in here. What I've got to do now is mix it. It's quite thick at the bottom there, you see. So I'm going to mix this all up. So it all becomes diluted. And all mixed in thoroughly. See? That's all got to be mixed in. As I said, the smell is awesome. It's such a great smell when you brew. Right, once this is all mixed in, I'll be adding approximately 20 odd litres, because this in itself is now taken up about 5 litres. And I'll be adding 20 litres of cold, still Scottish mineral water. So I'll get on with this because it'll take about a good 5 minutes to mix this all in, and then I'll come back and we'll add the cold water. That's brought that up to just under 10 litres. We've got to keep going until we've got about 25 litres in here. That's just under 15. What I'll do, I'll turn that around. You can see the marker here. Now, before I add the last one, which will bring it up to just below the 25 mark, you need to check the temperature, and I need to check the specific gravity. Now I want the specific gravity to be round about 1040 at 20 degrees. So the first thing we're going to do, we've sterilised this thermometer. The containers were sterilised as well. So what I'm going to do is plonk this in here to see what the temperature comes up to. It's about 20.5. So that's good, we'll leave it like that. I'll put this back into the sterile holder. I'm going to fill this test tube using the sterile ladle, and then we're going to measure the specific gravity. See where we are with that. I don't mind if this goes everywhere. Sterilised. Back on there. And again, this container's been sterilised, therefore this is sterilised. I know the water level's going to come up. (1042). And we're looking at 1040. This is 1042. We'll leave that one like that. It will go down a bit. Let's just add that into there. It will go down a bit when I add the last 5 litres. And because of the temperature, I don't want it to drop too much, so I'm going to boil a kettle. And I'm going to mix some warm water with the last 5 litres. The reason for that is the specific gravity is correct at 20 degrees, but I don't want it to drop below 20 degrees. And at this stage you can have it between 20 and 30 degrees C without a problem. But I needed to measure the specific gravity at 20, which I have done. I can now bring this temperature up a little bit before we proceed. Okay, so let's add a bit more of this to it. This is a boil kettle. Just to give it a little bit of a kick. There we go. Keep that. That for later. For Ron. Right, we need to give this a good old stir. We're going to just check that temperature again. I did about 24. So that's great, because that's going to be a good 25. There you are, right in the middle. That's going to be pretty good to activate the yeast when we add it. That's okay, we're finished with that now. We don't need that. We'll give that a good old wash later. So now we need to add in the yeast. Now again, I'm using a brewer's yeast that came with here. We have the brewer's yeast. I'll try and get this on video, because all we do is sprinkle it in. And then we mix it in extremely well. The yeast, and we're just going to start getting that mixed in. It's the beer. Now what I have a beer belt, what's called a beer belt, which will go around this fermenter. You can plug it into the mains and it will gently heat up all of this, should it be necessary. At the moment it's not necessary. I'll just keep an eye on it. Snap shut. That's it, it's an airtight seal. This is the airlock. As the gases come up through here, they force their way through these set of bubbles. Now this is just water in here, but it allows the gases out without anything getting in. And that now goes into a cool place. So that's 24 hours. This yeast should produce a foam. Might have some brown patches in there, but it should be a foam, and that's a good sign, and we leave it like that. We then let it rest like that without disturbing it for about 4 to 5 days. Then at the end of that 4 to 5 day period, we'll come back to it. We'll take a hydrometer reading, see what the specific gravity is like, leave it one more day after that, and then we will bottle it. It's as quick as that. It's not ready to drink then, but at least we can get it into the bottles. Now, specific gravity I'm looking for is 1009, so it's at 1040 at the moment, in fact 1043 at the moment, and we're going to get this down to 1009 or lower if we can. Thanks for watching, stay safe. I hope it's caught your interest and you'll come back to see the follow-up videos. I'll do a video when I'm checking the temperature and when the yeast is formed on the head, and also of course we'll go through the bottling process, because there's a lot of sterilisation of those bottles. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!